Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be having a look at the very first and second series of Topps Star Wars cards that were released in the UK by Topps Ireland way back in 1977-1978. Now I absolutely love these. I bought them at the time and they're filled with a hell of a lot of nostalgia. So that is going to be the subject of today's video. So sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay, so this is, and so is this, an original packet from when the fantastic first series of Star Wars cards were released in the UK. Now you can tell a UK packet because this bit here, coming soon, exciting Star Wars games, paints, action figures and other long playing toys from Palitoy. Now if you look at the US version, it says toys from Kenner. So that's the easy way to find out if this is a UK one or not. Obviously it's Palitoy for Star Wars toys. And then along the bottom there you've got the manufactured in the Republic of Ireland by Topps Ireland in Cork. So that's like a wrapper that I found. And this one here is like a reconstructed packet. So it's like the cards, got a stick of gum in there. It's a really nice, this is how it would have been in the pack. It's a real nice packet of original cards there. And they would, of course, have come in this box here. So I've got it in a nice plastic case, but if I take it out of that, let's have a little look at the box in all its glory. Now, these boxes are very rare. So this is not in the best of condition, but it is an original. And I'm very pleased to have it. When Star Wars came out, I was 7, and I remember buying these cards so well when I was young. Just incredible. 48 count with the distinctive 5p on the front there. These boxes, incidentally, you may have already come across a great channel here on YouTube called Wax Packing. Now, Carl over at Wax Packing concentrates on trading cards, and it's mainly down to him that I've got the bug again to try and fill in some of the little gaps that I've got in my trading card collection. And certainly, if you've not checked Carl out, he'll give you the bug as well, because there's some fantastic stuff, and he sort of concentrates on cards from the 70s and 80s and the very early 90s, and there's some fantastic stuff there for you to have a look at. So anyway, that's the original box and the wrapper. I've got the cards to show next. One thing I did come across, and I'm just going to show it now, when I was digging out my cards I came across this. Now if I just put these to one side just for a moment, what this is, this would have been wrapped around a bottle top like so. And this little thing was an offer so that you could pick up either, you could get £1 off the Empire Strikes Back soundtrack at Woolworths, which is pretty cool. And also it would have, you could get a Star Wars poster. And these were wrapped around milkshakes and milk bottles back in the 1980s, in the early 80s, and it was just a little redemption one. I think they're really scarce, these, and I guess it was such a fiddly and light piece that I thought I'd best keep it together with my like trading card wrappers and that. So I have recently done videos on my Star Wars 7-inch and 12-inch albums, but I just wanted to show that to sort of go with the little collection there. Now, the next thing we've got then is the first series, which is blue. Now I've got my collection in 9 pocket sleeves, and I use the Ultra Pro ones because they seem to be the best for me. You know, they're the best that I've ever had. And I'm sure you've probably seen the cards before, but in the UK for Star Wars, we only had the blue cards, and we have the second red series, which we'll have a look at in a minute. And in the States, they had 5 series of cards and they all had stickers. In the UK, we had the 66 cards, but we never had any stickers. Now, back in the day, I used to write off, when I was a kid, I used to write off to various movie stars and TV stars. I'd write to their agents, or you could write to them, let's say it was a Doctor Who star, you could write to them care of the Doctor Who production office, and you generally get back sent a signed postcard or a signed picture. I was very lucky in that a couple of years before Peter Cushing passed away, I wrote off to him, and at the time he was in a nursing home, and I sent a big bundle of stuff off, predominantly pictures of him as Doctor Who from the movies, but I sent off a couple of paperbacks which had him on the front, sort of 50s movie tie-ins, and I sent off a couple of Star Wars pieces. One of the pieces I sent off was this card here. Now, this is before I had the shop. It was probably, I don't know, the mid 80s, 86 maybe earlier than that even. And I sent this card amongst all this other stuff for Peter Cushing to get signed, and it came back signed. Now, what happened, I had it, and it was amongst maybe 20 or so things that I got him to sign, and it came back within a week, so I was absolutely over the moon. And then, but these were my original, these weren't here, but the one that I sent was part of my original Star Wars cards from when I had them as a kid. So they weren't in very good condition. They sort of had rounded corners, and they'd been well worn. They'd had an elastic band around them, so they weren't in great shape. And when I had the shop in the 90s, a really nice mint British set came in, which is the ones that I've got now. And I just put my lower grade set, which included the signed Grand Moff Tarkin Peter Cushing card, in the shop, not realizing that it was actually signed. I'm pretty sure the one that I got signed was either that one or one a little bit later on towards the end of the series. And I just sold that one, and there's a signed Peter Cushing card in there, and it's probably incredibly rare now. But that's one of my little Star Wars regrets. Now, I'm sure you're aware that on the back of these cards, some of them make a picture, and other ones have got the story of the film and a little extra little facts about the film, and they are absolutely iconic, and I really, really love these. For me, they're so nostalgic. I remember completing my blue set time and time again. I must have had 2 or 3 sets back in the day. All my friends, without fail, collected these. Around the same sort of time, you could still buy the Marvel superhero stickers. I remember mates collecting that. We also had Planet of the Apes, I seem to remember as well. A few of my mates collecting those. And I always preferred the cards over stickers. And I know later on when Empire came out and Return of the Jedi, the UK only had stickers. I also remember as a kid, one of my mates had been to America, and he came back with green Star Wars cards. I thought, where have you got these from? And he said, oh yeah, there's 5 sets over there. And none of us really believed it until we actually clapped eyes on these amazing different coloured Star Wars cards. I thought, well, why didn't Britain get them? It just didn't seem fair. And it wasn't until, years later, till I was grown up and started importing cards from America, that I finally realised that he was telling the truth. I think this is the one I sent off rather than the one earlier. I think I sent that one to Peter Cushing. The thing was, and it was easily missed, he signed all his autographs with a fountain pen. And in fact, when I edit this video, I sent off my autograph book as well. I'll include a picture of his autograph in there, and you'll see how very delicately he wrote on the card, so you couldn't really see the signature very well. And that's probably how, when I went through, I just missed it. I just completely forgot about it. But there you go. That's one of those things, isn't it? But if you do ever come across a signed Peter Cushing card, because it must have been sold to a collector back in the day, back in the 90s, well, you know where it came from. I'm not bitter, because as I said, I've got his Cushing's signature on many other items in my collection, but it would have been lovely to have had a signed Grand Moff Tarkin Topps card. So anyway, that was the first set in the UK. Then they did release the Red series later on, the second series, and these are notably different because they, instead of numbers 1 to 66, and in America the numbering continued 66 to 132, you've got 1A, 1B, so 1A, 2A, 3A. So the numbering has an A after it. That's the only way to for you to determine that it's actually a second series card. And these are equally as good. I remember these were around, they seemingly were around for an awful long time. Obviously, Topps did not release Empire Strikes Back cards in Britain. So we had to suffer with the Panini album. Now, I do love that Panini album, and I've still got my original one from when I was a kid. And I will be digging that one out to review quite soon because that's got its own sort of memories. But I remember loving this series, and it's full of iconic images. I mean, they're just fantastic. Absolutely love it to death. And I'm very pleased once again to have a nice sort of high grade set of these because the cards are just they're just so good. Same thing, the main picture on the back is of the Tusken Raider. In fact, it's that picture there. In fact, that's the one, the Tusken Raider. That's what it makes on the back. And it's also got the same sort of mix of making ofs and, you know, movie facts and things like that, which make these cards just so great. They certainly were a massive part of my childhood. These particular cards were as big as, to me, they were as big as, you know, the toys. They meant so much to me, and I absolutely loved them. So that's the Red series as well. Now, if you do fancy getting sets of these, thankfully they're not a fortune, but I mean a real mint set of the British blue and red, you probably are talking 40 to 50 pounds now for these. Certainly they are creeping up, but they sold massively. But then again, look at how old they are. You know, they're getting on a bit now. The wrapper, well, this one from the record thing, there can't be many of them survived. I know it's not in the greatest of shape, but I still think it's probably quite a sought after little piece, that one. The wrappers, I've seen these vary. So this is quite worn, this one, and this must have been one that I had from really way back in the day. But you would expect this empty wrapper to be at least a tenner for this one, maybe a bit more. This packet, real nice condition one, which this one is, probably 15 to 20 pounds for the British one, a little bit less for the American, but it's just perfect. The box is super rare, and the second series one's even rarer. It's got the second series splash on. You're probably looking at 150 to 200 pounds for the empty box. So there you go. I look forward to showing you my Empire Strikes Back Panini sticker album very soon. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this little look at these British Topps trading cards. They are absolutely fantastic, aren't they? So I have got the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi Panini sticker albums to go through in a future video. Those are my original ones from back in the day that I collected. I've also got the rest of the Topps Star Wars and Empire and Jedi trading cards, as well as some various overseas and foreign releases as well. So we will get around to those in due course. If you have enjoyed today's video though, do please give it a thumbs up. Do consider subscribing for regular vintage Star Wars content. And thanks once again for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.